Hi, my name is Emily Martin. I am 22 years old, about to be 23 in a few weeks. I was born in North Attleboro, Massachusetts, which is about 20-25 minutes from downtown Boston. I have an older brother named Robert, who's 24, and a younger sister named Lindsay, who's 21. When I was younger, my parents decided to get a divorce, so I have my father and my mother and stepfather. I graduated from high school in 2008. I graduated as 13th in my class out of about 250. Because I did so well in high school, my University of Yukon actually gave me a scholarship for most of my tuition. But I had a feeling that if I went to college, that I might have partied and wouldn't maintain the GPA that was required to keep the scholarship. So, on a whim, I actually decided to enlist in the Air Force. I was the first person in my family to go into the military. So everyone was rather shocked when I said, "Hey everyone, I'm leaving for basic training in a few weeks." They weren't very happy with that. My first plane ride was actually to basic training down in Lackland Air Force Base, San Antonio. It was an interesting experience being on the plane for the first time. Little did I know, after basic training, I would be on a plane a lot. After my tech school was finished, I got my first set of orders, to Kadena Air Force Base, which is in Japan. I was speechless when they told me I was going to Japan. I was so scared and nervous. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know what to do during my first PCS. When I finally got to Japan, 17 hours later, I met my sponsor, who sort of just dropped me off in the dorms. I spent the entire weekend not knowing what to do or where to go. I knew nothing. I met a lot of good friends when I was stationed at Kadena. I still talk to a lot of them now, 3 years later. In Japan, I met my husband, who was actually the first person to introduce himself to me, as ironic as that is. He actually got orders to go stateside a few months before I did. So it was hard having him stateside and me being overseas with a 13-hour time difference. But eventually I got my orders to Fort Meade, which is an Army base in Maryland. I was nervous about this too. This is my first time actually having to live off base in my own apartment. Before I even joined the Air Force, I was living at my parents' house forever, and now they tell me I have to live off base, get an apartment, and I didn't really know what to do. But I got married a few months after I got here. My husband and I finally decided to tie the knot. He actually got medically discharged from the Air Force due to an injury while he was deployed. So he was able to then come and live with me in Maryland. We drove from Texas to Maryland, which was about 22 hours straight. That was the longest drive of my life, and I will never, ever do that again. We recently decided to adopt a puppy who's kind of like our child now, and she's absolutely great. Recently, I've decided to try to hurry up and get my bachelor's, so that way, if I decide if I want to get out, that I will have a pretty good chance to find a job. But as things are going now, I think I might decide to re-enlist. And that's my first speech.